echoing.
So Nadia also here with Bonete account.
Yes, hey everybody, good to see everyone. Greetings from Copenhagen.
Thank you for joining.
Okay, I think it's time to start the session now. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining our second session of the Asia Regional Meetings 2020. Today's session is called Adolescents, Financial Literacy and Digital Learning in Asia. As always, we expect a very interesting session and discussion, but please remember to keep yourself muted while the speakers are presenting. Feel free to write down your questions in the chat, and we will come back to them during the Q&A part of the session at the end. To kick off the meeting today, we have Aflatoun International's Programs Director, Reddy Davi. Reddy, thank you for joining us.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, I think, for most of you. It's good to see everyone joining this meeting once again. I think this is the third round of meetings we were having in the Asia Regional online discussions. The first one I remember where we started having the initial thoughts of what this regional meeting means for us and what are the areas we want to have a discussion on. That session I joined, it was really impressive, and also the engagement from everyone, and also the different areas that each partner wants to focus on was really encouraging for us to see, okay, how can we serve the network better? And based on that, we crafted the previous session that you joined on, mainly delivering social and financial education at scale while maintaining quality. I think that's a key point that was communicated by 3 of our strategic partners in Asia, and also smaller initiatives that are also reaching the most vulnerable. That's also key. That's also the beauty of Aflatoun. It's a network of organizations that are serving children and young people at all levels. And it was a lot of learning that we took from those initiatives. And now moving forward, in terms of learning materials, the content we want to deliver to young people and how we want to train teachers. There's a lot of requests on how to engage young people on using the learning material that we developed for employability and entrepreneurship. That's AflaYouth. It was launched a year ago, but it's still in the process of discussion with several partners that showed an interest. But there's also a request, what does this mean? How is AflaYouth structured? There was a lot of requests, so we invited one of the key person on the development of this material, Michelle, who will take you through this curriculum. And also, with COVID, I think everyone around the world, including Aflatoun, roll up their sleeves when it's about digital learning, broadly distance learning, and we are doing a lot of efforts. We are putting all our energy to come up with a concrete and a sustainable way of delivering education for children when they are in a situation where they cannot access school, where they cannot come together. It also looks at training teachers, training trainers. So what's our plan? What's Aflatoun doing to make sure that children are reached in distance and using the digital means going forward? These are the areas that will be discussed, and also your input during the discussion, suggestions will also help us to improve further. And also we'll hear from a pilot we did in the Philippines with Children International. Lemuel will share how the training went and also what have been the experiences while piloting this initiative. I will stop here. I wish you a successful meeting as always, and let's keep it fun and entertaining. All the best. Over to you, Diana. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Radiat. Our moderator today is Brian Larish. Brian is our regional representative. We're very happy to have him today on the session. And Brian, welcome.
Thank you, Diana. Hi, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. I think this, of the 4 sessions we're going to have, this is the second one that we're doing. And I think it's especially important because considering the circumstances that we are in now, I don't know about the rest of you, but we are going through what is called, I know Europe is going through the same thing, the second wave or third wave of COVID. And here in Malaysia, the lockdown is until the 9th of December. So, you know, all the more so, the digital learning is coming forward to the forefront. And, you know, even here, the colleges that did very quickly, the schools that moved to the digital learning platform are the schools that are turning successful. And I think this session today is extremely important. You know, we need to see how, and it also following on what Radiat said, I think it's our strength, it's our curriculum, right? And matching the curriculum with the digital platform is what we need to do and do it well. So guys, you know, I think it's let's have a healthy conversation on this. Ask as many questions as so that you can, you know, you can do what you need to do. Whatever is not being able to be answered, Diana will take the questions down and we'll follow up with that, right, Diana? If there are any questions on technical issues, for example, if you are, you know, you have a low bandwidth in your country, you know, what are things that can be done when the infrastructure is poor? You know, what are other opportunities that are available? Yeah, we will look at all those issues. Today's session will be divided into 2. First, we will have Michelle speaking, and Michelle is going to introduce AflaYouth. Let me share a little bit about Michelle, right? A very short bio. So Michelle is the Senior Curriculum Manager at Aflatoun and has been working in the curriculum department for the last 4 years. I've had the pleasure of working with her. So she is a joy to work with. Before Aflatoun, she worked in the US as a teacher and teacher trainer in various schools. Her background and interest has always been in education, and she's really proud to have worked and helped finalize the AflaYouth curriculum for Aflatoun last year, right? And she is going to be speaking on the content of AflaYouth with special emphasis on employability and entrepreneurship. This is the big thing now, entrepreneurship. Everyone is pushing for that. You know, just recently here in Malaysia, they put $100 million for this budget. So you can imagine in COVID, if they can put $100 million, you know, how much emphasis they're placing on entrepreneurship. And we're looking also during COVID-19, how this module can be used, you know, to find possible ways for those who lose their salaried job, right, on how they can take care of themselves. So Michelle, please take it away. It's up to you now.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Okay, let me get my screen going. There we go. One more thing. Okay, great. Nice to be with everyone today. I'm really happy to, for some of you, it's re-inform you about AflaYouth. For those who were present in the at our international conference last year. We launched AflaYouth, towards the end of last year. And great timing, in my opinion, because it's really, the program is really a critical piece to this resilience that we've always talked a lot about, but especially during this pandemic. And you see, I say COVID-19 response and beyond, because yes, it's right now, but it's specifically how do we deal going forward, right? And how can young people be set up for success moving forward? I understand probably a lot of people from your regions and around the world are probably starting to lose work or have already lost work and are looking for a way to, what we say, reskill, upskill, pivot, find other ways to be resilient. So that's what I wanted to walk you through today, what we have from Aflatoun for you. AflaYouth, a sustainable livelihoods training program. Practically speaking, it's in 4 books, which you can see here, the covers of each. you will recognize, as I walk through it a little bit, you will recognize many elements because it's an Aflatoun product. So you will see similar approaches to how we do social and financial education, adhering to the pillars, with the added elements of, this newer, older age group, and with a stronger focus on more age-appropriate employability and entrepreneurship skills. So the first book is social and financial skills. There's an employability skills track. There's an entrepreneurship skills track. And then there's a reference guide for a coach or mentor. If that's something you have set up in your program, I'll explain a bit more. As well as extension activities. So that's the fourth book, which we call the resource toolkit. The structure. So like I said, book one, the social and financial skills. I'm going to go in a few slides. I'll go a little bit further into the details of what you find in each part. But as the youth go through this book, and as facilitators go through it with them, they're building towards a moment where they're investigating if improving their employability skills and moving towards more understanding the labor market and what job opportunities there are for them, if that's more the direction for them, or if they are looking for or more suited for an entrepreneurship track. So ultimately, you, as a program, you would not have to do both books. You can, but you don't have to. And the end of book one really leads you into a kind of decision moment to determine if they would want to do what you see here, track one or track two. And then the resource toolkit is supportive for all the books. So that has, extension activities, more projects, things that could be done, remote learning. I do want to be upfront. At this moment, there's not specifically a digital component, but we will talk about that and towards the end of this presentation, and Maxwell will also talk about it. But the resource toolkit does have suggestions for more offline remote learning options, which honestly, a lot of youth in our network need that because of lack of access, for example, to devices or to connection. And the coach's guide is quite useful because it really provides a sort of parallel coaching mechanism or mentoring mechanism for the program. So this fourth book, the resource toolkit, provides a lot of guidance for how you could insert a coaching mentoring aspect. I see lots of things popping up in the chat. If it's something really relevant, Diana, you can shout it out. Otherwise, I just keep presenting for now. So the foundations, where did we get the foundations for AflaYouth? So of course, we had an advisory group from the partner network and also other experts in this field and in the youth employment field and in youth entrepreneurship. It's also based off of some other successful projects that Aflatoun carried out, and in a few slides you'll see where some of those were. So really, it's a response, asked and answered. We, as Aflatoun and as the curriculum department, we definitely wanted to provide a more substantial amount of material for facilitators who do work with a slightly older age group. You'll see there that we've identified it as ages 16 to 24, but because every country identifies youth with a different age, we see this being applicable even up to age 30, for example. And specifically, this is really a more, it walks the balance of being more applied and more practical than the type of entrepreneurship content or assessing my skills content you might find earlier on in Aflatoun or in Aflateen, Aflateen Plus. It's not 100% applied, meaning that there's the partnering aspect that still needs to come in. which some of your organizations probably can provide. So really the link to the labor market, or really the link to interviews or job placement or internships, or potential sources of funding for their entrepreneurial ideas, that link still comes from the field, from on the ground, from the partner network. But this is more applied than what you have seen probably in Aflateen Plus, for example. The social and financial skills component, that domain still links clearly to the 5 core elements of Aflatoun. We just put a stronger focus on this transition to work. So economic independence through employment or through entrepreneurship. There is, of course, a cross-cutting focus on gender equity. And we really included needs from rural communities. One of our more successful projects that's used some of the content from AflaYouth is in those rural communities where most of the entrepreneurial ideas or self-employment are agribusiness. So we wanted to make sure that they weren't excluded from this. And we really acknowledge, even if it's an employment or an entrepreneurship track, that the reality is that most young people and adults have multiple income streams. So it's not that they necessarily have a job or are doing entrepreneurial activities. It can be a mix, or it might be several side businesses. So we also tried to recognize that in the financial learning section, as well as in both tracks. I'm going to skip this on the expected outcomes for now, because I have a little bit more on that later on. Just a little snippet from each of the domains. So the social domain really looks at, personal, interpersonal, and intercultural competences. Again, this is very recognizable content from the Aflatoun, Aflateen Plus approach. But just for this, for this older age group, and really looking at this transition to work. So the social skills needed there, and really equipping individuals to participate, effectively in their social and working life. We also have aligned this with the EU lifelong learning competencies. A couple of example sessions that you would find in the social component are critical thinking, overcoming obstacles, and standing up for my rights. I hope you can see this. I'm aware it's a bit small. It was hard to fit all the financial sessions in one graphic. This will be shared with you so you can view it in detail later, as well as the content itself. But the financial domain, we viewed it more of a circle, because it's a financial cycle. So that's why you see the image represented in this way. Again, you're going to recognize a lot of these financial concepts from other Aflatoun material. But we start with assessing my finances. This is what I talked about earlier. This is the looking at all the sources of income and recognizing that as a reality or potential sources of income. And then looking at our kind of usual cycle. So needs and wants, smart saving, spending. Then we go deeper into tools. So budgets and loans, digital finance, sort of pros and cons. We even go into cybersecurity around digital finance. And finally, we kind of came up with a little bit more of an innovative session on investment. So this actually covers more things than beyond money. So how you also, that time is money and how you're investing your time. We found these to really be critical components for success for this age group and the goals of this program and book. Then you would have the, like I said, then there's sort of a decision moment if your program wants to track. So if you went the employment domain, it covers all of the workplace skills, but we also go through lots of reflection moments. So determining what my skill sets are, what job opportunities might be out there for me. I think there are several sessions in this component that are really critical right now, given the current pandemic, as people look to look for different types of work, or see how their skill set could be transferable. So we're really, looking at transferable skills here. A couple of examples: recognizing skills for success in the workplace, and again, rights and responsibilities in the workplace. Finally, the entrepreneurship domain is probably the most applied element of the content, as opposed to earlier Aflatoun books where you have maybe 2-3 sessions on entrepreneurship. This is really a whole book with building up from idea creation through launch and searching for capital or startup cash, for example. We also have a few financial sessions in this domain specifically, as would be necessary for those looking at entrepreneurship. So cash flow analysis, more with balance sheets. So it gets quite technical. As I just mentioned, yeah, business finance basics. That's one of the sessions, as well as adding value. So how to be more creative and innovative in your business ideas, for example. Now, all along, before I go to the next slide, throughout this entire book, throughout all of these domains that I've just shown you, that resource toolkit provides, like I said, a coach's guide. So there are moments at each of these domains in particular sessions where there could be a coaching or mentoring session with further help on the CV or further help, for example, on developing the business. For us, we think the key word to success for the AflaYouth program is partnering. So not just us with you, but also you with other local organizations, bringing in the local expertise. There's several moments where it's recommended, yes, the facilitator could do this session, or even better, finding an expert from the community to facilitate. AflaYouth in action. At this time, as far as I know anyway, we only have a few partners really testing out AflaYouth with that name, AflaYouth. But we have built this on successful projects otherwise. So you're not seeing the AflaYouth name, but it's really the basis for the content. So that's been the Next Economy with SOS Children's Villages. That's been under an EU funded project also with SOS Children's Villages, but in Eastern Europe. That's the YES program. So YES is Eastern Europe, Balkans, and entrepreneurship has been more, or sorry, the Next Economy has been more across Africa. And our partner in Namibia has been using AflaYouth as you see it now. There are 37 sessions in total. That's if you did it start to finish, all 3 books. If you would just do the social and financial plus 1 track, so then employment or then entrepreneurship, that's approximately 27 sessions total, just to give you some frame of reference for how much content we're looking at here. We have several programmatic suggestions, which you also find in the resource toolkit, that there are certain moments in the program where you would really want to space out your sessions further to give youth ample time in between to really work on the tasks at hand, or really reflect or work on the projects, because like I said in the beginning, we would like this to be as applied as possible. Just a few last thoughts on this concerning access. It's currently available in English, Spanish, Arabic, French, and Russian are coming at the end of this year. We're always happy to talk to partners about other languages and contextualization efforts. Like I say here, contextualization support is available. And for the example with Namibia, that is now what we're working on, making it a little bit more appropriate for their context. There is a blended learning approach guidance in that resource toolkit and in our training of trainers. So like I said, there's not really a really strong digital component at this exact moment. But in the training of trainers guide, there's a lot of, or manual, there's a lot of guidance on blended learning. A virtual training of trainers can also be carried out, which Aflatoun has been doing more often in these times. The M&E tools should be ready by early next year, and then we will also work on translating them. And as Maxwell might talk about, or could always talk about further, there's definitely opportunities to make these modular digitized versions that youth, could participate in directly on a digital platform. Okay, I know my time is up. What you think, what are possible outcomes from the AflaYouth program? Identifying market gaps, sustaining local industries with local job placements, understanding better how to access local finance, expanding their own business network, because we also understand some people might come to the program already with a business going and they're just trying to improve it. We also accounted for that in the curriculum. Understanding what's a decent job opportunity, how their skills apply to other job opportunities, and ideally at the end, they understand that have real job opportunities possible or have begun their own enterprise, at least the starting phase. All with the goal of resilience. So I think a few minutes over, but that's my time.
Okay, Michelle, thank you very much. You kept the time very, very well.
Thank you.
So, Dinah, we are saving the questions till later, right? After everyone, yeah. So now we're going to go to session 2. And session 2 is going to introduce our Aflateen Plus digital curriculum, share our progress on the pilot Aflateen digital curriculum in the Philippines, and explain how partners can start using this digital curriculum for Aflateen Plus. Let me share the two speakers' bios very quickly. First, we have Maxwell. Maxwell is our innovation, digital and digital learning and training expert with over 9 years experience working in the private sector, NGOs and universities across 3 continents. He holds a master's in educational science and technology and a post-baccalaureate certificate in instructional design and technology and a BSc, a Bachelor of Science in Psychology, right? And various other certificates. He has worked both on software and hardware, from content creation, working with bots for learning, using authoring tools to adapt learning resources. So he's quite adept at all this, and he's also a speaker at various international conferences on e-learning, right? And next we have Lemuel Bonete from Philippines with the Children International, who is a registered social worker with more than 17 years experience in child and youth development. Lem, as we know him, is a passionate person about helping young people and families empower themselves through human-centered program design, innovation, and evaluation. Lem also recently was acknowledged as an international certified life coach, which adds value to his skill as a registered social worker. And he wants to use this to unleash the potential of individuals that he meets and bring out the best in them. So with that, I like to invite, who is starting first, Lem or Maxwell?
It's Maxwell, yeah.
Okay, so Max, go ahead. You have 15 minutes, right?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Brian. Hello to you all. Shall we please share the slides? So whilst the slides are being sorted, many years ago, Aflatoun thought of today or the next 5 years and the challenges and the many opportunities that would come. And we had been working on a lot of ideas with products in creating our content. We were thinking ahead of time. How do we bring something new to our partners? How do we make sure that when the times are changing, our partners are still benefiting and we're still providing value to our existing, of course, partners and the children and those who are relying on Aflatoun to be financially literate and have the life skills capability to live peacefully with everyone else in their communities. And it turns out, very unfortunately, that COVID has made it possible, of course, for Aflatoun to bring to you everything we're doing and to continuously share our experiences and build on it based on your feedback to create new things for you as well. My slides. So I'm going to share with you our strategy, how it's been in the last.
Yourself, if you want, you have the right to do it.
Yeah, sure. 1 minute. I have a lot of things open on my screen. Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So as I was saying, I'm just going to quickly run you through the strategy and the product, just to give you an overview of everything Aflatoun is doing now, and then that would benefit you. So over the years, our strategic ideas were based on very key three things. First one is online, offline learning. Second one is scale up, meaning that regardless of wherever someone is, we could reach them with our content. And the third one, of course, is teacher professional development. Sorry, if you see me looking at this side, my camera is below my taskbar. So I'm sort of looking at the screen, but then my eyes are, so my apologies for that. So that was a strategy. Now, moving forward, this is what we're trying to do. We've adjusted our strategy a little bit, and this is what we're bringing to you. The first one is, as you are aware, Aflatoun, we do a lot of face-to-face training. We do a lot of face-to-face engagement, and most of our curricula is all, as Michelle was describing, most of it is all paper-based, hard copy, and then maybe PDF. Our goal for the coming years is to digitalize all our curricula. And what I mean by that is, if you pick the AflaYouth that Michelle was talking about, every activity in there would be converted into a video, so that even if you don't have the book or you don't have the PDF, you have the video that exists in all the curricula. So every activity in the curricula is converted to videos, and then the tables also, or the images in the curricula as well, are converted to interactive elements. So for example, in this table, you see, most of you will know it's the tree of life, I'm assuming. Now, in the tree of life, one exercise that you have to do is label different parts of the tree with your future aspirations or some of the things that you wish changed. And going forward, this table would be something that you can share with someone, and they can indeed receive empty text boxes close to them, and they can input anything they want. That's one of the things we're going to do. And this table as well, if you open the curricula, it's just a printed table. In going forward, what we're trying to do is make this table interactive, so that you can share this table before the training or whilst you're doing the training. And if the person is using like a phone or a tablet or a laptop, they can enter the data into the table and share that with you. It's one of the things that we're going to do, digitalize all our curricula. So we gradually transitioning from paper-based. I'm getting some comment. I'm not sure if it's related to this. Could someone please look at this for me? So then you see that. So the whole curricula is going digital. Everything in it is going to be digitalized. So you may not need the hard copy anymore. The second part of our strategy is now to continue with creating training for both online and offline delivery. So for example, Aflatoun, again, we do a lot of face-to-face training. Unfortunately, due to the COVID, a lot of the training is happening online. Now, this is something we had been working on for a very long time. There are samples of it on adolescent.com if you check. What we're trying to do now as part of the strategy is double down on it. So we're going to continue creating more online training that anyone could go through and be certified to teach children, and at the same time be certified to train other trainers as well. Now, there are different elements to it, and I don't want to bore you with all that. Part of it will be led by someone either in Aflatoun or by a global master trainer. So it won't be you just sitting behind your PC and going through the course and suddenly you become a global master trainer or a trainer. What will happen is that for each of the three options I described, so for the one where you can just sit by yourself behind your laptop and go through would be a refresher training. The one where after you go through it, you are able to teach children, it will be purely based on project as well. So there will be a project element to it. So after you go through the course, you have to do a project, and the project will be subject to review and different kinds of feedback, like it happens in your bachelor's or in your master's. And the last part of the course, in this case, or the training, which would enable you to teach other trainers or train other trainers, will be led by a facilitator. So it will be a combination of the course and of course of live online virtual meetings and discussions and things like that. And we're pushing forward with certification as well. And all these things I just described would have the certification element in there. And what you can see on your screen is us now doing this training in different countries across different organizations. We've started and we're continuing to do that. And we're taking the feedback to improve on it. And what you see at the top right is one of the training, one of the courses where you can go through by yourself and then you get certified, you get certificate for doing that. And that is purely a refresher. That's if you've ever been through an Aflatoun training. And then part of one thing we're also trying to do is create more products. So as much as we're training you, as much as we're thinking about, digitizing our curricula, we're also thinking, what are the things we can create for you that would give you something to work with? So that would give you something to work with. Sorry, I keep getting a lot of feedback on this. Yeah, that will give you something to work with. And one thing we're doing, last you saw, was the course. And the second thing is that we're doing a lot of online facilitation training. And Lem will talk about one of the things that we're doing. So Aflatoun, over the years, we have the expertise in-house to train you on how to be abreast of the time. So for example, now most things are happening online, but then it's not as easy as people think. Like you can't just get up and say, oh, I'm gonna do online training. There are a lot of things you need to know. There are a lot of things you need to take into consideration. And there are certain things that are necessary for the person you are going to train or teach, for yourself and for the person. So what we're trying to do now is give that training to selected organizations, and it's something that we're doing as well, to train you so that you can apply or conduct the training online with little to no challenges. Face-to-face training is different from online, but the same way that not everyone can just do a face-to-face training is similar to online. And there are certain tips and tricks that need to be given for you to be able to do that. And it's part of the training that we're doing. Now, I don't know how much time I have left. I just want to briefly show you the Aflatoun partner platform. If you have any questions on that, then we can move on. So I'm just going to switch quickly to the Aflatoun partner platform. Okay, so this is the Aflatoun partner platform. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. And the idea with this, like I said, is that our partners over the years have been calling for the need to share ideas and to connect with other partners everywhere and see what they are doing. This platform gives you the opportunity to do that. You are able to join your region. You can join the region that you belong to or join other regions as well. You will see this event now happening. It's right here. It's very live. It's here. Everyone knows it's happening. If you are part of the platform, you see every event happening within Aflatoun once it's posted here, and you can join, because it's one of the ways we believe that you can share ideas and get to know what is happening elsewhere. Again, we have topics which cover the different sections within Aflatoun. And here you will notice that we're covering curricular research, everything that is mostly discussed within Aflatoun. And the idea with this is you can find the resources you need to help you make certain decisions going forward. So if you need resource on resource mobilization, how do you mobilize resource in your organization? We put resources here that will help you to do that. Of course, you can see digital resources also here as well. And all questions on the platform are under this particular section. Now, let me just take you to the course part as the final part. And the idea with this, like I said, is that all the courses happening are hosted here. If you have a course that you wish to run, of course, get in touch with your program's regional program manager, and then we are happy to host the course here for you. Of course, based on certain modalities, it could be that there's a cost element to it or not, but we're happy to help you, put the course here and invite other people to join as well. And the last thing that I want to talk about is that there's a big chat functionality that is opened up once you are part of the region. And not everyone can be in the region. You can be part of the platform, but not part of the region. The criteria for joining the region is decided mostly by the program manager. So it could be that people, partners who are paying their their membership fees or not, partners who have met a certain condition or not. So within the region, you can download all the actual curricula. So here, also one thing that we're trying to do is minimize the delay in you trying to get information from Aflatoun, because Aflatoun has a lot of resources, but a lot of us don't know about it. Now, what we're trying to do is put all the resources in the platform labeled appropriately. So if you want to know all of Aflatoon's curricula, when you click on the curricula, you're going to see all the curricula that we have. The ones you didn't even know existed, we have it here with a very succinct, a very brief description of the curricula and what you can do with it as well. It's one of the things that we're trying to do. Now, everything we have on training, digital learning, everything would be here. And you are in the Asia region, you might not even know all the partners. Again, we're going to put, and we are putting the profile of the partners within the space so you know who is here and who their key contact persons are. And if you want to engage with them, then you can do that. Once you are in the space, you can open a general chat, as you can see. So you see a list of everyone here. You can send something and people can respond to you as well. Or you can do individual chats and look for people by name. In this case, I'm going to look for Brian Larish, and I'll just click his name and I'll say, hi, Brian. And Brian will respond when he has time. And there's a mobile version to it. If you go on the Google Play, if you go on the App Store, the name is Mighty Networks. It's not Aflatoun, it's Mighty Networks. And once you download it, it will ask you to put the name of the organization. Then you put Aflatoun in, and everything else you see will be Aflatoun from till you uninstall or delete the app. And of course, we're pleading with you to as well edit your profile so that people would know who you are and put your picture there and put your organization there. So it's easy, for security reasons, people can know, okay, I'm chatting with this person from that organization. It helps because we're trying to create a community and everyone wants to be seen and everyone has to be seen and there's no hiding. And of course, the more we share, the bigger it gets. I think this is the end of it. I don't know if there are any questions based on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Maxwell. Maxwell, we're saving the questions till the end after Lem presents. So then we will do. I think we need to be aware of the platform. Many people are not using the platform. Maxwell has just shown there's a whole wealth of information on the platform, especially all the curricula that you're asking Lucky. It can be downloaded through the platform. And I think also in Asia, remember what I spoke about last time in the first session about all of us connecting with each other. I think we have a lot of resources to support each other, and let's not waste that. Let's not waste that, please. For example, in the Philippines, NATCO is really very good at cooperative movement and working with the really poor, as how Sylvia talked about in the first session. So let's look at that too. Okay, last but not least, Lem, you're next. Please take it away.
I'll just share my screen for a bit. And while sharing my screen, during our yesterday during our meeting, I think one thing that I can give you guys is a statement that coming from CI Manila, and Isra is here, the coordinator who is implementing the pilot, is that when the Aflateen digital curriculum, the pilot of the digital curriculum started in Children International Manila, the rest of the programs being implemented in the virtual space would like to follow the way we are doing it in the Aflateen. So that's a very interesting statement, perhaps. So first of all, I would like to present who is Children International to all of you. Our vision, our ambitious vision, is actually bringing people together to end poverty for good. And we do this by connecting with people around the world in the fight to end the poverty. And we believe that working together, we invest in the lives of our children and youth. We build healthy environments that they need to thrive and empower them to create a lasting change in their own lives and communities. So that's why I think we believe that providing them life skills, social and financial education skills are actually in line or in tune with our mission. As we do this mission, we believe in the core heart of our mission is the values which we live our mission. We always see potential in everyone, everywhere, and then we see that every human are connected with each other, even though we are in pandemic. So right now we are doing all the efforts to be connected with each other. In every manner that we are doing, we are also learning. And the last one is we are owning the impact. So Max have already stated the general perspective or overview of what has been the process been done in during the pilot stage. So at the beginning, we consulted. Uh, we had a meeting with Lucky, Max, and the rest of me and the rest of the program unit team of Children International to to have a brainstorming around this, and then Lucky proposed actually we started to brainstorm a pilot testing of the curriculum in the Philippines. And we started it with a training, a 2-day training. Of course, it's virtual, and we did it for I think 2 hours for 2 days. So we also have a simulation or mock sessions on that. So after the training, there had been, aside from the mock sessions in the training, we also have a mock session on the actual content of the curriculum, which was, this is to really launch or prepare the participants on facilitating the curriculum or the sessions online. Then the team in the field in CI Manila and CI Bicol started the participant selection. And once the participants has been selected, they did the parents orientation and then started the session implementation. And then along with the session implementation, we are having a supplemental training based on the needs identified as we move forward, as we go along with the implementation with it. And then also we do the monthly check-in meeting. This is with the coordinators in the Children's International Manila and Bicol, and as well as with me and Lucky and Maxwell. And then of course at the end we all usually do the culminating event, or we call it a completion ceremony. So as of October 2020, just last month, um, CI Manila. So by the way, in the Philippines, the pilot is being conducted in CI Bicol, a rural agency or community of Children International, and in CI Manila, wherein part of it or mostly of it, majority are in urban. So right now we have 94% um, of participation. So we were expecting like 100 participants in this pilot, but as of the moment, we only have 94 participants. And generally, majority, we have completed 5 out of 12 sessions. And because of a lot of things that happened, like the typhoon in Bicol in the Philippines, we were seeing that it might be end by the end of November. That's the earliest, and the latest would be on the second week of December. And the difference between the two pilots is that Manila utilizes older youths as peer mentors, while Bicol didn't. And I think that's a really good thing to really understand the difference between utilizing youth peer mentors than those agencies who's not. And right now we are having 8 private Facebook groups, or in the sense is we called it Aflateen clubs. So, as mentioned, we are using the Facebook groups here, and we're in as our as our platform for the implementation of this pilot. The reason for that is that in the Philippines, this is very common to our participants, even to adults and even to the young people. So it's we are following this because we would like to meet where the people are. So following that principle, where the people are right now. So they are in Facebook. So let's do the pilot in Facebook. So, but we use the Facebook social learning group, wherein it is a private group. As you can see here, only members can see whatever happening there, and only admin can add, remove, or post in the in this group. That is the difference. The difference of the social learning unit group to other groups in Facebook, like the marketplace group, is it has a learning unit, social learning units, and later on you'll explore on that. And in this sense, the social learning units becomes our lessons or the sessions. Now, to connect with the participants, we use the following mechanism. We have the Zoom, we have the Google Meet, Facebook Messenger, and the call conference. So we found out, especially for Bicol, they are having a hard time with the connectivity. So these two, the Google Meet and Facebook Messenger, are other options so that they can connect with the participants. Can everybody see the screen? I am sharing. Someone messaged me that they can.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we can see.
We can see it, Lem.
Okay. Thank you. So here we have a. So this is an option to Google Meet and the Facebook Messenger. So this uses a little bandwidth compared to Zoom, so they can still have the conversation during live discussions, as well as if there are concerns, they can just send a message to Facebook Messenger or Google Meet. Now, for those participants who really wasn't able to connect during this live discussion because of the internet, because of the connectivity problem, we use the call conference, wherein the facilitator would just add the participants, will call someone, and then uh, he or she, the facilitator, will add additional participants and just do an audio processing conversations around the topic. So the content, what you can see in the Facebook group of the following. Number one is, of course, the curriculum, which is actually composed of videos and additional resources. There's photo, pictures, interactive photos, interactive videos, which was Max actually speaking about in his presentation. And as well as we included the safe internet use, and we also have the child protection protocols there. What are the things that they need to understand about the child, to make sure that the children are safe in the internet, in the virtual space. And then we also, there is also a video around orientation on how to navigate Facebook groups, because at the beginning we have a assumption that these young people are really what they can understand or has already the know-how to navigate Facebook group, but we realize that they don't really know it that much. So we need to have some introduction around this, and even session. Then next is the session, although the session which is outlined on first is the pre-test, wherein the content of the test is coming from the manual itself or the curriculum itself, and then the video or the photo related to the topic that will entice the participation of the participants, a description of the video, and a question after that, which the participants will have to answer in the comment sections. There are also additional resources that the participants will have to read or will have to look into that could supplement the topic. And then aside from that, there are also home tasks or assignment that the participants will have to do offline. So meaning after this discussion online, the activities online, they have something to do in offline. Then there is a live discussion on a weekly basis. The live discussion goes 30 to 45 minutes. And also finally the post test. And again, as mentioned, sessions is referred to as units in the Facebook groups. So I just would like you to bring you to this Facebook group. You can see that we have the about section, where in the about section is actually, this is the description of what is the social learning about, and we have the discussions tab wherein when you click that, the comments of the participants on the questions of the facilitators are there. The conversations of the facilitators, the conversation of the participants with to the facilitator are there as well. And then of course the units, these are the units. For example, the unit 1 is just the preliminary um, lesson. So I have the welcome message. There is a introduction, a video about what is Aflatoun program. So iShare program is actually a local name for a vehicle. There's a video about internet safety, tips, and some gentle reminders. So this is the unit 1. So those are the once they have completed this unit, they have to complete or click done so that it can appear here that they have completed 1 of 9 required units completed. Now, in my sense, because this is my profile, I am just there to observe, so I did not click anything that's done. Rooms here is actually very useful, especially that when everybody really needs to meet for a live discussion using the messenger, they can just get into this room and have the discussion already. And members, of course, the members who are the members of the group, and then events. So this is very significant as well in the Facebook group, because when you wanted to schedule an event like live discussion or an emergency meeting with a group or this emergency session, you can just put there an events and everybody will see it. In media, it's actually all the materials that you have uploaded. This is the shortcut that you can go with it. And so for your question, Anthony, that's part of my slides later on. So what we learned so far at Children International, we learned that Facebook social learning group can be used for learning such as social and financial education, this Aflatoun program. And the use of Facebook features such as emojis and comment threads helps active participations on and engagement of the participants. Video teasers, this is an add-on on the curriculum that was provided by the Aflateen International. Video teasers or infographics are essential as part of the program promotion. So prior to the implementation, we did some program promotion on this so that we can recruit participants. And then it makes the participants more excited to join the program. And we also, parents orientation as well is as essential as the sessions, because parents and children are on the same page on this. So parents can also support the participants on their home tasks. So the parents can understand what is this my child doing with this material. So it's good to have that. So protecting children is a must always, meaning that's why at the least, so Children's International is not ready for the virtual implementation in terms of protecting children in the virtual space, but and in the least, as we can say, we try to to import our protocol, the in-person protocol to the digital space. So one of which is providing them internet safety tips, and then giving them some norms that they could follow as they participate in the program. And we also said that there are only 13 years old and up should be part of the group. And then there are norms around internet safety, cyberbullying, and appropriate contents. Also, there are more than 2 adults there also in the groups to monitor the activities of the group. And right now, as we progress, the program managers and the child protection officers are doing an audit for each Facebook group, especially in Manila. They are doing that and like hopping into the Facebook groups, looking into what are the activities happening in the program to ensure that the children are actually safe in there. And then we use icebreakers. Similarly, in person, we have icebreakers, but of course, here in the virtual, it's all still applicable. So we use funny facial emoticons, for example, grab something and describe it. We also use online tools such as Kahoot, Quizlet during the icebreaker during the sessions. Short videos or photos are essential to introduce a topic, entice conversation, and keep participants engaged. So Actually, the videos, Aflatoun International provide this in stimulating videos and resources based on the existing curriculum. We just provide context. So we added some, which actually added some value to it, like, translating the questions into Tagalog or in the local language, or for some, there are additional videos, additional resources wherein the participants could be able to relate with. So at the beginning of the planning of this pilot, Nadia and I actually check on the content, so which is actually applicable for the Children International participants, and then we submitted that to Lucky and said to Lucky, these are the contents or these are the sessions that are relevant on our end. So yeah, so that's how we contextualize that. Then peer mentors, especially for CI Manila, provides a great support to the participants, meaning the support is actually translated into the choice of words and materials becomes more age and context appropriate when youths are involved during the planning and even during the sessions. Um, of course, we would like to see the balance between quantity and quality. So for this pilot, we use 10 to 13 participants per one program facilitator. So so for some facilitator there are 10, for some there are 13 participants. Asking the right questions lead to effective learning. So at CI, especially for our programs that I am part of, the empowerment programs, we usually do questions. This is very essential on our programs. So we either use the 3H questions or the ORID questions right now. So that Bicol use the 3H while Manila use the ORID questions. The 3H stands for head questions or the cognitive questioning part, and the heart is about the emotions or the feelings. What does the participants feels about the video? And then the hand questions are about the practice pieces of it. For example, how would the participants will have apply the learning that he or she just gained from the video, from the discussion. And then the oral questions is actually stands for, the O is for objective questions, the R is for the reflective questions, the I is for the interpretative, and then the final one, the D is the decisive, which is talking about what decisions does a youth uh, can take from this situation or from this video or from these lessons. Grouping the participants according to age helps contextualize the content and the approach to learning. So for example, CIB call team divided the participants based on their age range during the live sessions or during the implementation. So for example, batch one, which the ages are actually 13 to 16 years old. This is still divided into two, wherein, I mean, the participants ages 13 to 18 years old, this is still divided into two. So the division is 13 to 16 years old will have the first batch to do the live sessions, and then 17 to 18 years old will have to do the separate live sessions. The advantage of that is that 17 to 18 years old, which are mostly senior high school and college students, have a different perspective of everything else and have a different experiences than those who are high school students. Use the benefit as a reward. So for CIB call up, the participants who accomplish at least 3 or more exercises per session will be given immediately with their data pack. The data pack actually or internet load. So this is actually a benefit that is provided to them during, when they participate, but they CIB call do a mechanism wherein it looks like a reward for them. So while for those who do not comply, they need to accomplish first at least 2 to 3 exercises in the previous session before receiving the data pack or internet load for the next session.
Lem, you need to wrap up, yeah, because it's already 5 minutes above the time, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah. So we have staff also divided, do the teamwork, divided the work based on their strengths, and then of course, looking into the feasibility of the tools, we have to look into the what are the available tools to the participants. And then to your question, Anthony, we have this monitoring tool wherein it measures, it tracks all the progress of the participants. So, and then challenges, during now the online classes now started, we have to redesign the program in order to address the competing priorities of the participants. And when it's redesigned, that is right, like rescheduling the program in the time that the participants are available. Then extra effort to follow up some of the tasks for the participants. Then, of course, for rural areas, cell phones and technology is a problem. Internet connectivity is a problem as well. So, to end my presentation, I just would like to share this video to all of you.
So guys, ako nga po pala si Kuya General nyo. Nandito ko para i-share sa inyo ang aking mga experience about Aflateen program.
Good day everyone, I'm Daniela Faith Bishata and I am a sponsored child of Children International.
So yung pinaka nagugustuhan ko sa Aflateen or Aflatoun program is yung mayroon tayong natutulungan ng mga bata at kabataan sa kung ano ba yung hindi nila alam or kung ano pa yung pwede namin maidagdag na knowledge.
Nagiging daan itong program na to towards a character development sa aming mga participant ng program na ito. Dahil sa mga natututunan naming knowledge, nai-apply namin ito sa aming sarili at nagkakaroon kami ng realization sa mga bagay-bagay na hindi namin natutunan before kami pumasok sa naturang program. Hindi ko pinakagusto sa program na ito ay the fact na ginagawa namin ito through online. Naniniwala akong mas marami kaming matututunan at mas marami kaming mapag-uusapan kung ang program ay gagawin face-to-face.
Surprise ako siguro dun sa mga kabataan saka sa mga bata na tuturuan namin is yung nakikita namin sila na nag-i-improve. Kasi makikita namin yung kapag sa umpisa hindi sila nakikinig. Pero makikita namin na nakikipagalubilo na sila sa ibang kabataan, sa ibang bata na tinuturuan din namin. Yung nagiging masaya sila sa kung anong ginagawa nila. Tapos nasi-share din nila yon sa mga kaibigan nila sa bahay, sa kapitbahay nila, ganun.
I'm surprised with the fact na natututo talaga kami sa mga videos at activities na binibigay sa amin ni Ma'am Shai through online. At dahil sa mga activities at videos na pinanonood sa amin,
Okay, so I think that's the last part of the video. So,
mas nagiging madali at
Thank you, Lem. Diana, you want to just explain how we're going to do the last half an hour? We have 20 minutes left. So, how do you want to take the questions?
Well, now that we are open for a Q&A session, I think whoever has a question for either Michelle or Lem or Maxwell or Brian or Lucky, or if you want to start a discussion, you can write it down in the chat, or you can also raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask a question to us. We saw a couple of questions in the chat before where I think Lem already answered them. One of them was, how do you evaluate the tasks even during the course? I don't know if you want to add anything to that question, Lem. I think you already.
yeah, so we have the agencies as a participants tracker wherein they have to follow the participants. So basically they have the definition of the enrollment and completion. So one of the requirements for their completion is that they have done actually they have participated in the Facebook group conversation. They have participated in the video live discussion, as well as have submitted their assignments. So that's as one score for them per session.
Thank you, Lem.
And just to add on, right, I don't think it's a bad idea to follow 1 or 2 or 3 children to make stories out of them, because stories are more appealing on social media. Giving statistics is boring, right? And if you want to make a story, the story appeals to the heart, and what appeals to the heart will attract people. So remember that, out of your 50 students or 13 students, pick 1 or 2 to follow them personally and write a story about them, or like the video Lem created, a shorter video perhaps, but where they tell their story, one in English and one in the local language, I think, where possible. Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan.
Diana?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I agree with Ryan, Laris. It is always great if we have like impactful stories out of the pilot project with Children International in Philippines. So let's discuss this more detailed, Lem, during our monitoring meeting. And it's great if we can pick one or two, one girl, one boy, and make a video or just like a story about them, how the impact of our digital learning using Facebook. I think that's great, and we can also upload in our website and share with our other partners.
There is a question here from Matt. How do you address the challenges around the phones, tablet? Yeah, this is, I think, a wide problem globally. So what we actually right now, we are in the planning stage right now. Basically, what we are doing is providing them internet data pack by this time. And then some of the ideas that I am receiving from the field is already that they are thinking of providing them worksheets for those who don't have cell phones, for those, especially those who are living in the remote areas or in the rural areas. So they were thinking of having a worksheets instead of the like this virtual communications. I hope I.
Thank you, Lem. We have a comment here from Induni. She says she's working on this kind of program using WhatsApp and Teams.
Maybe I could also say something. I just put in the chat box a link that everyone can view, and you can download the document from there. Aflatoun with the UNICEF MENA regional office. So it's it was developed with the MENA region in mind, but I think it applies globally. We developed a back to school teacher preparedness guide. Phase 2 will be a digital version, which I think could also be publicly available. Definitely this print version is. It's for teachers to read directly. Modules 1 and 2 are about safe school operations, returning during the pandemic, and the second one is really on well-being and protection and activities for well-being. So it could be just generally interesting. Why I mention it now and have posted it here for you is actually because of module 3. It's a whole module on hybrid learning, project-based learning, remote learning, without technology as an expectation. So I believe in technology, and I think it's fantastic. But yes, we are struggling with broadband or connectivity or device access, or they don't have a way to make an account because you need a phone number, or you need to use your mom or dad's phone, and that's not possible. So I think there's lots of great solutions we've been hearing in several webinars, and also such as this one, on ways to work around that and still use some of these great tools. But this teacher guide specifically talks about maybe how to do that remote learning without a technology requirement that goes beyond perhaps a worksheet, for example. So please have a look.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Mm-hmm. We have another.
Can I add on a little bit more? The device called a Raspberry Pi, right?
Yeah.
The Raspberry Pi is like a local area where, Dinah, I'm not very good at this, but I remember that before for my schools in Sabah, in Borneo, where we had limited access to internet and limited access, there's this very cheap option called Raspberry Pi. It's less than $60 or $70 where you can use it to have like a local area network within a school, and all the information that you want can be uploaded. Dinah, maybe if you know about this, you can help me add on a little bit. Please ask your local, computer guys about the option of Raspberry Pi. It's a very popular tool to actually use to keep data for where in an area you don't have access to to the internet. And basically what you do is you upload all the information into that, you send it to them physically, and then in that area, they can all access a mini internet network within that area. Am I right, Diana? Is this basically what a Raspberry Pi is? Like a local area information pod?
Yeah, you're right, Brian. Actually, we did it in Tanzania, and it's something that we've been doing for quite some time. The only challenge we faced was that once the teachers faced some challenges with using it, they sort of gave up on it. So one thing we would recommend is that before we implement the Raspberry Pi, we do like a technical training, yes, on how to like basic troubleshooting. So if something happens to what is the best way to go about it, and I think that should be. But we are implementing it. We did it in Tanzania, and it's something that Aflatoun does heavily once you show interest in it.
That, Maxwell, I think we should sort of include that in an information pack about one section on the internet on Raspberry Pi, because it is a good option. The questions being asked for almost everyone is the same in Asia, right? How do we access when we don't have a tablet, we don't have a phone, we don't have a laptop? So the Raspberry Pi option is a very good option for people to use. So let's put that in information, a basic introduction. And I think, depending on the local, the country and the local circumstances, they'll be able to work. What are the other options available? At least this is a better than nothing option.
Noted. Thank you.
Thank you. We have another question from Mayet from the Refugee Council. He is very impressed with the tools and resources and is wondering about the digitalization of the Aflatoun curricula. I don't know if Maxwell or Michelle, someone wants to answer this question.
He said he's wondering about it. What was the question?
When are we expecting to digitalize all of Aflatoun curricula?
So thanks for the question. It's a very progressive thing, and as you may be aware, it's also very resource or money intensive, and Aflatoun is not very rich in this regard. So we're starting progressively. We're starting with Aflateen Plus, and then we'll do a little bit for Aflatoun curricula on selected topics, and we'll try to approach it based on demand. So the most used curricula is where we start from. And as other people are requesting for the other ones, we add more things. So we'll start with the Aflatoun and Aflateen Plus. Actually, we might finalize the agreement to do that in the coming weeks. And as soon as we finish, we should receive the first sample before the end of this year. And we'll continue as people start using it.
Yeah, maybe I can add also on this. Yeah. By the way, welcome on board, Miat. Miat is our new partner from Myanmar. So finally, we have a partner from Myanmar after maybe several years back. And Miat coming from Finnish Refugee Council. And they want to contextualize our curriculum into Myanmar local language. So I already reached out to Miat to have a spirit call and guide her on how to start implementing our curriculum.
Great, welcome, Miat. Does anyone else have another question for our speakers?
Something to me?
Yeah, maybe I just want to add also a little bit because some partners, some participants reach out to me privately asking about a link to our of the curriculum. So just to let you know that all active implementing partners of Aflatoun have free access to all our curriculum. So the curriculum that Michelle presented, I will share the link with you that already reached out to me privately, as well as the Aflateen digital curriculum that presented by Lem, that currently in piloting stage in Philippines. So I will share also with you. And just reach out to me, you know my email address, so I can share all the link. But as Maxwell also explained during his presentation, you can access free of all our curriculum in our partners app. But then you need to ask for approval from Diana and Maxwell to join or to join the Asia program, because in the Asia program you can have all access to the curriculum.
Thank you, Lucky. I'm posting the link to the page in the chat here. So feel free to just click and join, and then we'll accept you. And then you have access. Then you join the Asia region, and you go under topics, under curricula, and every resource you need in Aflatoun is there for you to download.
Thank you, Maxwell. Lucky, if we don't have any other questions, would you like to say something?
I have a question even to Nadia. Maybe Nadia, do you have any plan for the, because we currently, I think next month we will finalize our pilot with Children International Philippine. If you want to scale up to other region, please let us know so we can provide more guidance on how to help you with other region in terms of pilot, follow up the pilot in Philippines.
Yeah, thank you, Lucky. For sure, it's something we want to think about and talk as a team. But we definitely get some really great positive feedback. It was wonderful to see the video of our own youth, to hear from their words, and agree with all the presentations so far. Definitely something to explore more into. So we will definitely be in touch about that. Thanks, Lucky.
Thanks, Nadia.
Great. Well, if there are no other questions in the chat or from anyone who would like to raise their hand, then maybe Ryan, would you like to close the session?
I want to say something.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Maxwell, go ahead first.
Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions on our digital products and everything we're doing on the app. Once you're on the app, just send us a message to the admin or to Diana or to anyone, and we're happy to respond to you there and even give you more information that we couldn't do in this particular presentation because the time was very short. There are a lot of things happening we're happy to share with you, and we are also happy to guide you. If you have anything you're thinking of implementing, we're happy to give you advice on certain things to help you going forward. That's it for me. Thank you all.
Brian, maybe just one last one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we will have another session in December on national integration, just to let you know. So we will invite a high official from several governments that already successfully integrated our curriculum into the national education curriculum, such as the Philippines, Indonesia, Mongolia, and Nepal. And also from UNICEF regional office will also be one of the speakers. So we will let you know the detailed information about this session, national integration topic, I think in the mid of December. Thank you so much.
Okay, any more input from anyone before I close? Okay, Maxwell, maybe one last thing is you can share with Lucky, so Lucky can send an email to everyone on how to download the app, the Aflatoun app, so that everyone who wants to download the app can have it on the phone, and it's much quicker response rather than opening your laptop. Yeah, now thank you for participating. We had between 40 and 50 participants today, with some going in and out depending on their internet connection. I think it was a good discussion. This is, in my opinion, a very important section of what's going on now, especially with COVID-19. We do need the digital platform. We can handle this. So please reach out. The resources are here for you. Ask and you shall receive, as they say. And that's the way we're going to move forward. So with that, I thank you all. I look forward to seeing all of you at the next session in December, where we're going to talk about national integration, which is our ultimate goal. Yeah. And, of course, the PowerPoint, as always, Dinah will share it with you later on. Yeah. So all that will be shared with everyone. Have a good couple of days ahead. And we'll see you in 3 weeks, I think. 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right?
1 month.
1 month. Okay, sorry, 1 month. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Group
Bye.
Brian.
Bye-bye.
Can we have a group pictures for final one?
Group picture.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Maybe, can you please turn on the video so we can have a group picture, then we can just leave after that.
The link to download the app has been pasted in the chat. So please, we'll also forward it to you. Lucky will forward it to you as well.
Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks, Maxwell. Okay, we have a 2-page. I will count 1, 2, 3, and then let's smile together. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. Page 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
For active participating. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Lucky.
Bye.
Bye, Samali.
Bye.
Bye, Joseph.
Bye, Michelle.
Bye, Indomie.